Reactor, online. Sensors, online. Weapons, online. All systems, nominal.
Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, and welcome to another rant, my thoughts, I don't know. Just another video where I talk about Mechwarrior, so let's talk. How fucking I know. So, what I want to talk about today is faction play and the Q talk. So everyone's talking about the fact in faction play, my first just turned on, in faction play, you know, wait time's long, wait time this, wait time that, you know, it takes me forever to find a match and all this stuff. So, a couple things I came across that I think would really kind of fix things up a little bit. So, first thing is, everyone in the Inner Sphere can still be, or a clan, can still join a faction. Now, what basically will happen in this case is that the clan is side A, Inner Sphere is side B. So you only end up with basically two sides. Now, you have it set up so that each side can only attack one planet, and each side can only defend one planet. So everyone votes on the planet to attack, not, or, you know, we'll say the attack the planet itself. Now, you also set up so it's also real time. So we're constantly fighting over planets. So if, say, you know, a unit from the FRR, for example, all with the FRR tags, take a planet. That automatically, right then and there, switches over. Then there's, even if it's like no 8-hour time limit, it just switches over, and then there's a cooldown on that planet of, say, 8 hours. So what'll happen is, everyone votes on, we'll say, even an attack lane. So we'll say Steiner to Smoke Jaguar. Or Karita to Smoke Jaguar, sorry. So everyone knows, okay, we're fighting over that border. So we start fighting over the planets along this border between Smoke Jaguar that obviously have been completely taken out by Karita. But theoretically, we'll say these are the planets here, right? So Karita's border's here, so everyone votes to say to attack Schwartz here. Because everyone knows the power of the Schwartz. It's taken out, it automatically ticks over and goes next to Rockland. Everyone fights over Rockland. If now clans also can vote on who to attack and who to defend. So say they vote, well, we want to do the Ghost Bear FRR. So they get, you know, a planet. So now you have one attack planet going here and one here. So technically, you only have two fights over here to fight from. Now, that's one thing I think of. And then they can also probably simply redo the maps, make them 300 to 400 times bigger. Make them so that it's kind of like a realistic warfare for something like War Thunder, where it's one map with multiple different, basically capture points, and the battle is over an entire week or weekend. Where basically what happens is, huge map, and everything's more or less more realistic. So on a map that's huge, scouting becomes very important, right? So if you're running locusts, fire starters, whatever, you're actually running out there, you're actually finding the enemy for the guys that are playing at that time. Now also, to make it a little bit more realistic, it restricts the mechs you can run. Now I'm not saying builds, I'm just saying it restricts the mechs themselves. So if it's saying, hey, this is a Karita Smoke Jaguar match, Smoke Jaguar usually run the following. Boom. Karita usually runs the following. Boom. Now, historically, Karita is allied with the FRR, for example. They usually run the following. Boom. So pick a side. Karita or FRR. So you pick FRR. It's like, okay, so here are the mechs the FRR runs. Boom. If you don't have one of those mechs, you can't go into the match. More quick play, earn money, buy the mech. And also that way, it kind of restricts you, right? So if you know you want to play Community Warfare, you know you have to get certain mechs to play for certain factions. There you go. So if you have a Panther, you do. Boom. Or a Jenner, boom. You can hop in for Karita and be in one of their scout groups. What'll happen then is, you just get dropped. By yourself, all alone. Now, there'll be a generic base, which they can use using the new scout, or the new assault modes, where there's two huge bases on either side of this planet. Huge, long, rectangular map. Now, first day or so, there may not be that many engagements. Both sides are moving to capture points. So there's going to be, at least, we'll say, one capture point per certain section of the map right now. So if I go here and I go invasion, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. So there's 13, 14 different slots. Now, what they can do is this. Make it so that there's a first line of defense, which has these massive military facilities, massive fortifications, guns, UAVs, sensor towers. Something that looks like a group has been there for a long time, has dug in. Second is more like the second line is more like kind of almost like a Maginot Line, like fortifications that are there, but they're also there to absorb an attack. Now, what can happen is, as people drop and play around or whatever, these bases themselves can call in artillery strikes. No long tom, maybe long tom now and then, but things like that. Now, what happens is, as you're playing, each facility has its own little specialty. So the first line has rearming facilities, repair facilities, and a couple other facilities. But then you use the C-bills that you've earned as the match goes on. So if you go kill 3 or 4 people and then retreat back after you get armed or whatever, you can go into one of these repair bays. It's like, okay, hold on. You have made so far 250,000 C-bills. What I would like to see, or what it would then do is say, out of the 200 C-bills, it will cost you 35,000 to rearm and repair your mech. You click yes, it deducts that and says your current balance once you leave the game is 125,000. So you know, okay, I'm already making 125,000. I'm good. So there you go. Then what can happen is, as you make those monies, you can move up and capture different facilities. And as you capture different facilities, you unlock additional features like airstrikes, long tom. But you can also pay for the upgrades as well to facilities. So the FRR can have its own forward operating base. It's like everyone from the FRR goes and drops on this base, goes on patrols and all that stuff, because they know for the next week, we're going to be fighting, we're going to be playing. So the first one is a comm tower. That's where if anything is caught within a certain area of the network, of a sensor system basically, it will send out a thing to everybody on this saying, hey, we've detected baddies. It won't say who it is or whatever, it'll just show like almost like a seismic. There's targets of unknown strength. Here's a general location. Come attack them. So everyone on in the map at that time can go, okay, we know forward operating base Alpha has some guys on its sensors, let's go over there. So you can upgrade the sensor, you can build sensor systems, you can build artillery systems, fortifications. So like how they have the laser system, the actual turrets in Community Warfare right now, what you can actually do is put these turrets up on the actual facilities themselves, up on the walls. You can have them kind of dug in almost like Vietnam-esque forward operating base. You can have Gauss cannons, LRM launchers. Like a nice fortified location. Now, mind you, the only way to upgrade those will be to earn C-bills in the match. So that would be to go and try to take out or even snipe enemy bases. But what also it would make the bases strong enough so that no lone wolf could really do anything. It'd be set up so that basically, you know what, ECM Raven could probably sneak through the first line and then could sneak peeks at the secondary line, but really couldn't do anything on its own. So pretty much everything is lance-oriented. So a group of 4 could do serious damage to a base, but have it set up so that by the time they were to take it, they would probably lose 2 or 3 of them, and they would be facing a counter push. Now, this is where AI could come into play. AI is still being worked on in the game, so theoretically, what could happen is, if no players come to the call of arms, then what will happen is, the AI will launch some mechs itself from, well, kind of like a garrison unit, which you can use to upgrade, right? So you upgrade and boom, there's a couple, there's 2 awesomes kind of hanging around your forward operating base. You get to pick their colors and all that stuff, and boom, or even there's some generic green if you want to upgrade them and paint them, put your decals on them, 10 MC here, 10 MC to paint them, and then 10 MC to put your decal on type thing. But there, right? Boom, 2 awesomes are standing there. Now they may not move, or have them even on a generic patrol route, ABC, kind of have them kind of patrolling around a little bit. They see, they turn, poof, fire off their PPCs, fire off this, fire off that. And they're there just to garrison, to help defend the base. Tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, little upgrades as well. So you can buy a barracks on the base. So that way, instead of having this massive amounts of planets that you fight over where it's the same thing over and over again, you have this massive dynamic battlefield that's constantly changing and constantly being worked on. So at the end of it, it could be that both sides are completely and equally matched, and in the end it all comes down to skill, right? Or even numbers. If you have 100 IS pilots and 60 Intersphere pilot or 60 clan pilots, the clan pilots will be able to dig in and be like, okay, so we're going to hold our first line of defense, and basically we're just going to sit back and take the push as they attack us, and we're just going to defend ourselves and then counter push. You know, things like that. I would love to see that. That would be awesome. That would be amazing. That's something I would like to see them do in faction warfare. Now, with what they have right now, and people complaining about, you know, wait times and things like that, I completely understand. When I play by myself and I click on these things and I wait 5-10 minutes, I'll just log out and be like, fuck it. I spent my 10 minutes trying to find a match and I'm done. Now, the other thing you can do, which I've done, is, or I really prefer. So right now, I can pick any planet right here, right? Any of these planets, I can click if I want to invade or if I want to scout. Now, what if there was a second option? Instead of Planet Finder, fuck the Planet Finder, if there was Reinforce. You click Reinforce, and it says, would you like to reinforce Scout or Invasion? I just say Invasion. Or, sorry, Scout. Now what'll happen is, whenever one of these matches kick off, say in a group of 3, I'll automatically get fired in there as a reinforcement. Say there's 4 reinforcement guys all by themselves. Group of 4, boom, there you go. Dropped in. So that way you don't need to worry about this call to arms. Instead, you just have a little option here, you click it, boom, there you go. You're automatically thrown into the scout queue, the invasion queue. So that kind of, then what you can do is change how the screen is here. So that the only way you can actually select an actual planet to attack, an invasion or scout, the actual itself, is if you're in a group. So if you actually open a private group, right, and a faction, like an actual faction warfare group itself with like 2 or more people, you can then pick a planet and pick whether to invade or scout. That way you can actually fight over that planet. Now, what'll happen is loyalists will still vote as is, can still pick the planets and or the factions to fight, and it'll pick the planet and what have you. But on the bright side, what'll then happen is as you get dropped, it will tell you, hey, just so you know, you're fighting over a Karita planet. Hey, that's kind of how it happens now, right? So I click reinforce, blah, blah, blah. A few seconds later, all of a sudden I get this screen here. Now, oh, it defaulted? Okay, well, it defaulted. We'll ignore that. But then what'll happen is, you know, it will say, kind of like here, right? It says, you know, it's a Nasir, it's an occupying unit, blah, 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 blah. So what it'll... Smoke Jaguar is actually kind of pushing out a little bit there. Little jerks. So, basically what'll happen is, instead of having to pick a planet and all that stuff, as a single guy in a unit, I'm not in a group, click reinforce, click I want to scout, and there you go. It finds 4 single guys in a scout and throws it in. 3 guys are in a group, it's like, well, we need a 4th, boom. It's done. That way you don't have to sit here and look at the numbers and go, okay, so right now there's 23 and 28. We're on the 28 side, so okay, mathematically, yeah. But at this current juncture, by the time I click it, it may go up or down 1 or 2, depending on who's currently in queue. Fuck all that bullshit. Especially with the cold arm stuff here, it's usually like 3 or 4 seconds late. What's the point? So I feel like a reinforcement option. Just click reinforce, and there you go. Now, another option, you click reinforce, you click scout, say the population is really low that night. Okay, you do that. You click reinforce, you click scout, it automatically drops you into a fake military base. Like a fake training center, basically. You know, it picks one of the maps at random and drops you in, and drops you with some AI. And basically you run around, you shoot, you play around, until it finds you a match. It may be 30 seconds, it may drop you, you may take 2 steps, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, found you a match. But that's if it already knows, right? I mean, the game will know generally the average wait time at that time, right? If the wait time is 2 minutes, don't bother, because by the time it loads up and moves you over and stuff, you'll be going into a match again anyways. But if the wait time is like greater than 3 or 4 minutes, tell us. Or give us this weird mode. Like, if I clicked Chateau, Scouting, Scout, I want to know when I click Scout, I want to see an ETA, or I'd like to see an ETA right here. So click Ready, ETA to battle. ETB. Well, I know, okay, on this planet, the average wait time is about 3 minutes, so I can hit Ready. I can go get myself a coffee, I can go do this, I can go do that, and I can be back in 3 minutes, no problem, and have my match. That's something I wouldn't mind to see. But that's just a couple things I'd like to see about the queue. If there's anything you would like to see, leave me a message. I will happily oblige. I'd like to take requests and talk about certain things, certain stuff. And the next episode is just one of those. I had a request by a gentleman for something that I don't remember. I'm going to look it up right now, actually. YouTube. Here we go. YouTube. Make sure I have the right account sitting up in front of me here. And let's go to this. Oh. I want to go to notifications. Nope. Previous read notifications. Here we go. Here we go. I'll be talking about, from a gentleman here, Tucker O'Donnell, asked about melee weapons and shields. So in the next episode, I'll be talking about weapons and shields and melee weapons.